Estuaries are dynamic and complex environments, the intersection between rivers and the sea. These productive habitats are important breeding, nursery, feeding and refuge areas for many different creatures. But these ecosystems can be challenging places to study, and there is still much we don't understand. A team led by scientists from Plymouth University is looking to uncover the secrets of one iconic fish species, the European sea bass. To find out how it's young, use Devon's estuaries.
European bass is not only a commercially important fish species, but it's also really iconic for recreational fishermen, and there's been growing concerns about the decline of bass in the North Atlantic, so it's just really important to study how bass use inshore areas, particularly where they may be affected by a lot of human activities. The project's called IBAS, which stands for Immature Bass Acoustic Stock Surveillance. The aims of the project are really to track immature bass movement in inshore areas. In particular, we're focusing on bass nursery areas. The project is funded by the European Maritime and Fisheries Fund, or the EMFF. We've been successful in securing about £250,000 from the European Commission. In recent years, acoustic telemetry as a technology has really advanced, that we can now get really small tags which can provide really precise information on where fish are moving. So with that information we can then pass that on to regulators and help better protect these habitats which are really important to where the fish are feeding or where they're seeking refuge, and we hope that that will just generally complement any management measures which are taken on a local level.
So one of the reasons that Devon Severnifka is involved in this project is our authority was really concerned about the decline in European sea bass. It's declined from about 2012 and we think it's for a combination of reasons. They're a really important commercial fish species and there's been a lot of fishing pressure on them. And we had a series of 3 cold winters, which meant that we had really poor recruitment for 3 years in a row. So we think those two things combined have really led to a decrease in the bass stocks. Obviously there are fish that are managed by EU legislation at a national level, but our authority wanted to look at whether there was any kind of room for manoeuvre in terms of local management that we could bring in that would manage bass stocks better for the long term.
Well, the estuary is obviously it's very important to me. I've lived here all my life, fished on here all my life, know it pretty well. The bass is a very important income, obviously, not only as a rod and liner but for my charter boat as well. You know, everyone that comes down here, they want to catch a sea bass. With what I do and how our business is run, I'm still very young. I've got a young family. The fishing to me is very important. You know, it's my livelihood. So it's got to be sustainable. It's got to allow me to earn a living, and that's how it's so important. You know, I've got years and years ahead of me. And it's something that I'm really passionate about and it's really quite close to my heart, to be honest with you.
We're excited about this project because no one has done this at this scale, but we are quite nervous because it is quite ambitious and we now have to find and tag 150 sea bass. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
As much as the results and what we might gain from a scientific point of view is really exciting, I was very nervous about the scale of the project and the logistics in pulling it together. But the team at Plymouth University have done fantastically to get this far. We're out on the banks today and we're hopefully going to tag our first bass.
So we've had a huge amount of support from the different harbour commissioners and the different government organisations such as the MMO and Natural England, and really without their support the project wouldn't have happened.
Currently the protected areas for bass nursery areas, are based on where we think the juvenile bass are, but this project is going to allow the bass to tell us where they are and therefore appropriately put the lines for conservation in place.